the website's been very important in providing information to people who are potential buyers, but as well there's great future uses for this in terms of a community portal, so that once again we can build that sense of community amongst people even across different weeks when they're actually participating and staying in these villas. And the final thing is marketing and sales. One of the things that they've done exceptionally well is to actually target appropriate groups of people. So they've made sure to target people who have those specific needs that Allison is talking about, and that's something that's been very helpful to them in terms of getting those sales. So 3 things that we think that they can actually improve on. First is actually expanding that market. So we talked about how they've done a spectacular job of targeting specific people in the area, that being kind of Eastern Ontario and some of the smaller towns. One of the things that we think that they can greatly improve on is actually expanding into those larger markets, expanding into Montreal, expanding into Toronto, people who do want to escape the big cities, but don't necessarily need a cottage that they have to own the entire time. So we think that's something they can do to really succeed. The next is advertising, and right now what they've been doing is they've been focusing on local trade shows and really small targeted venues. One of the things that we think that they can build on is the idea of a referral program, using the customers and share owners they currently have to really build on actually creating that base of customers. So one of the ways we think that they could do that is a choose your own neighbor program, where people who already own those fractals are able to really bring in their friends and make them part of that same community that they are part of. Finally is partnerships, and this is in a different sense. One of the things that we were suggesting is, in fact, that having a Queen's alumni running the company, they thought it would be a great extension to actually get involved with the university, one of the really untapped resources here. And one of the things we were suggesting is for them to get involved with the sales course that we have here, and that runs September to April, when their sales season is not as strong. And one of the things that we thought they could do is to really help use that sales course as some hands-on opportunities for students to get an idea of what sales of these fractals would actually mean. And that could help build their sales in the off-season, while most of their sales are happening in the spring and summer otherwise. So now I'm going to pass it on to Catherine, who's going to wrap this up.
Thanks, Mike. All right, so in conclusion, we believe there are 3 key takeaways from our presentation. One is that Claremont has been able, through this Wolfe Springs initiative, to display their exceptional vision. The second being that they have developed a truly innovative approach to real estate development, and the third being that they truly understand the importance of strong business relationships. And we believe that by leveraging these strengths, that they will be able to grow significantly in the future. So thank you very much for this opportunity. We are really excited to be here, and we now pass it on to Jeff. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much to our student team. And I'm now going to invite Matthew Derbyshire to come and just give some feedback on behalf of Claremont Corporation. And the Derbyshire family not only contribute greatly to the economic development of our region, but they're great they give a lot to the community as well. So Matthew, come on forward. While he's coming forward, I'll just mention that all these case studies presented today are in your registration packet, so we hope you enjoy those. And the other case studies that have been done are available on our website too. Come on forward.
Thank you. I've only got 15 pages, so this should be pretty quick. I know we're all hungry for lunch. Thank you for inviting me here today. We've had a lot of success with Wolfe Springs Resort, but that success hasn't been without any challenges, as you well know. In fact, many times recently, we found ourselves sitting around as a group of owners wondering if we truly knew what we were getting into, whether or not we'd still do it again today. Having said that, we've had a great deal of fun with this project. We feel great about what this project means to the community of Westport and to the region. And we are now focusing our sights on finding the right property to recreate the success somewhere else in Eastern Ontario. But before I comment on the Monessen Centre and the KIS project in particular, I'd like to comment on the work of these talented students that you just heard from. I'd like to thank them for doing a great job on the presentation and spending the time to truly understand our particular project. Fractional ownership, although it isn't very complicated, often appears to be on the outside. It's essentially shared ownership. When you have to work hard, though, to truly understand what lies in the core of this, though. They were able to, in my opinion, identify the key success factors of our development and synthesize some of these points. In doing so, they've provided a resource to aid rural businesses in the future, and in the process of attaining their primary goal, they were also able to provide some useful marketing initiatives that we have taken and used at Wolfe Springs Resort on a go-forward basis. In fact, we've altered our offering at Wolfe Springs in part due to some of their findings. I'd like to share a few of their findings and highlight the actions that they've resulted in. In the report and in this presentation, the students emphasized the importance of strong business relationships. Petra also mentioned the importance of these relationships. This is something that at businesses we often take for granted. It's very important, but it kind of sometimes will fall by the wayside. This is key in any business, but particularly so when you're trying to develop an idea that is not at main and main. Good business people surround themselves with a network of allies, people that understand that if businessmen and women around them succeed, they are more likely to succeed. In response to that observation, we're reaffirming our business relationships and we're leveraging them to achieve our goals in this tough economic climate. This renewed focus appears to be paying off in that we've signed up 2 recent sales in the last week, and we're just starting to get into our into our prime selling season. As well, in the report, the students identified the opportunity to partner with institutions that have people representative of our target market. And I would be remiss here if I did not put a sales pitch in that says everybody in this room fits our target market. In business, only win-win relationships are viable in the long term. And this group's insight into attempting to create a win-win relationship with our community partners is truly excellent. To that end, we're currently attempting to set up these partnerships with the Queen's School of Business and the Kingston General Hospital to explore ways that we can further our interests of marketing our regional product while providing these institutions with another avenue to raise funds in a very tough economic climate. So thank you all for your hard work. You guys did an excellent job. And now just some brief comments on the Monison Center, in particular the KIS project. I'd like to briefly touch upon why I believe the Monison Center, and in particular the KIS project, are extremely useful and can play an integral role in creating a healthier and more sustainable rural communities. By providing businesses that are working to develop these rural communities access to leading research and intellectual capital, the type of capital, intellectual capital that's in this room today, through the analysis and the synthesis of successful projects, some of which we've heard of today, the Monison Center, through the KIS project, truly fills a void that is present in many small businesses, including ours. Often, entrepreneurial types of people like us have a vision of where we want to go. We have a passion to get there. The rest of it in the middle is just a little bit fuzzy. As an entrepreneur in a small business, it would be nice to have the capital to invest in focus groups, external consultants, and the like. However, for small businesses such as ours, that luxury is simply not possible. The Monison Center fills this void by building a knowledge database of these successful practices and then shares the same. In doing so, it increases the probability of success for other business people in rural areas, which is something we all want to see. And lastly, I'd like to comment on the important role that Gary Bissonnette has had in this KIS project and on our development in particular. Gary has been a tremendous resource for us, often doing things and asking questions that we, for whatever reason, have not asked. His commitment to his students is clearly evident, and his genuine passion to assist us in continuing our success at Wolfe Springs has been and will continue to be invaluable. So thank you very much, Gary. And now I'll turn it back over to Jeff.